Hello my creative and crafty friends, this is Gloria Plunkett with designsbygloria.com, here to share with you how to make the Z-fold pop-up card. Is that not adorable? I'm going to show you several other samples of this, but let me show you how quickly this pulls together. I've got my pieces cut, and I'm going to have a PDF tutorial for you on my blog today so that you can download all the measurements and see how this comes together. But we're going to start off with a regular 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. We're going to score it at 2 1/8, 4 1/4. We're going to fold the first crease in and the second crease back, and this is going to make your Z-fold card. Okay. Now, I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to work on our pieces of our card. Today I'm using the Hello Ladybug stamp set with the coordinating ladybug punch. And what I've done is, to save time a little bit in the presentation, I've gone ahead and stamped the granny apple green leaf and then cut it out with my paper snips. And then I punched out the little ladybug body and then stamped her wings on there. I added a dimensional on the back of these, and then I'll add another dimensional here once I figure out where I want to put it on my card. And I'll tell you what the measurements are, but like I say, you don't have to write them down or memorize them, because I'm going to have a PDF tutorial for you available, free of no charge. Okay, and I cut 2 designer series papers of your choice. If you want designer, you can use cardstock. I cut these at 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Then I cut 2 coordinating pieces. These were cut at 2 by 2, and then I used the my paper trimmer and cut them down the middle. So I did that to both of those 2-inch pieces. Next, I cut 2 pieces of 3-inch by 3-inch cardstock. I'm using black to coordinate with my project. And I cut 2 pieces of 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 basic white cardstock to also coordinate with my pieces. 2 pieces of 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 cardstock, and then 2 pieces of 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 basic white cardstock. Now, just an FYI, I started with a basic white piece of cardstock, not a thick, because I'm going to add so many layers. I don't want to have to pay extra postage and make it hard to pull open or whatever. I think it works better on the regular basic white cardstock, but you do whatever feels comfortable for you. Quick tip that I wanted to share regarding this tulip one that I shared with you. This comes from the Flowering Tulips Bundle. It actually got the whole suite with the daffodils and the tulips. And what I like to do is, once I get my dies and my my stamp set, I like to go on. This is not loaded on black. It comes in that regular white cardstock base bottom for it. Then I go ahead and put it on my magnetic sheet here, and I put this on my printer. I make a copy of this. I make 2 copies. I make one to put in my little folder where my dies go, and then I write the number of stamps and the name of the stamp, and then make another copy to put inside of my stamp set. This is where I keep my extra pieces. Put inside of my stamp set, so I'll remember when I go to sell it or something, I'll remember that this has a coordinating die to go along with it. And then I put extra pieces in here for future use. On my stamp case, on my die case, I take a photo of the front of the stamp set. I cut it out to fit into my little sheet here, and I also put the die one that I just recently did. This also helps me keep track. If I lose, let's say this had a bunch of little tiny dies, if I lose one, I can figure out which one I'm missing when I go, or if it's really busy, I can figure out how it better lies just the way it came, because they usually do a really great job Stampin' Up! of getting those in there on the sheets they provide. So all I do now is put this in with my inside of my plastic holder here, and I'll always know which stamp set goes with the dies. what dies goes with the stamp set, and if I'm missing any dies, or where to best fit the dies on my sheet to make them sit in there perfectly. That's just a little tip I thought I'd share with you today. Okay, so let's get back to this card. So we're going to start off with the Basic White Cardstock. Then I'm going to add, this is another piece that's whether you want to do it or not. I put a piece here and here. You don't have to put this piece if you want to have more writing. You've got something more to say on your card. Otherwise, it's going to have a smaller square in the center for you to leave a sentiment. So I'm going to use my liquid glue because I'm not really good at getting things straight on my card. So I want to have a little time to move it and wiggle it around to get it in there the best I can. I'll do the same thing to this piece here. We're going to set that one right there, centered on that piece. Okay, now I'm going to do the 4 corners here with this designer series paper. You can add another layer of cardstock on there if you want to. I thought it looked pretty without it, so I'm not going to add it. But what I am going to do is place this one here, and this one hovering. I'm not sticking it down yet, so I'll know. All I want is for these 2 points to touch, but I don't want one side to be wider than the other. So I'm trying to make sure that they touch. And then when I lay this one down, that it's going to be the same all the way around. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing to these 2 pieces down here. I think it's a fun card, and it's a pretty card. And I think whoever gets it will enjoy it. Got a lot of girlfriends that I send cards to in the mail. Got a lot of downline that I send cards to in the mail. And a lot of church friends and just regular friends that I love to send cards to when they're feeling sad or feeling sick, or they've just been in my heart, and I want them to know that they've been in my heart and I've been praying for them. Okay? Now here's where you'll write your sentiment, unless you leave this panel blank where you could write more here. So I'm just gonna, as you can see, I'm reusing a scrap when I made my calendars. And I'm going to center this as best I can. And then I'm just going to glue that right here. What I'm going to do is ensure that I've got equal amount of space on all 4 corners. So that's why I like to use the liquid glue, to give me time to move it around. Okay, and that'll close up just like that. Just like a regular Z-fold. Excuse me, we're going to do different little pieces here though. So now I'm going to add my white, basic white cardstock to my black. Again, ensuring as best I can it's equal all the way around. I'll do that to both pieces. There we go. Perfect. And then these will be placed right here, corner-wise. So what I'm going to do before I stick those down is kind of figure out, I want those 2 points to come together here. So I need to figure out where the first one goes so that the second one won't be. So I'm trying to make this point and this point go right along this line here. So I want to make sure that this is pointing here and that is pointing there, and the same for this one. And I want them to have equal amount of space, so I can see I need to move this one up a little, and that's going to go just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to add adhesive to this side in the back here of my cardstock, and add it here. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm only going to do it on that side. Okay. And I'm going to put this just as a reference, so I'll know if I've gone too far up or too far down. Darn it. Okay. So we're going to adhere that right there. I'm going to give it a little rub just to make sure it sticks down beautifully, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this piece. And now I can line it up, those tips together, give it a little bit of sugar. Okay, this piece, once I glue those two pieces, is going to go in here. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp this with some flowers. We know ladybugs love flowers. I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight stamp pad. And I'm going to just make sure I got ink all around and no little pieces in it to mess up my flower. So I'll put one about there. And I'll ink it up again. Put a second one. I think I'm going to do this way. Put my second one on the bottom so I'll know where my center one needs to go. And add another one. I'm just going to come off the page a bit, which I'm okay with. Right there. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in some black just because I like to coordinate things. I'm going to use that little dot that comes in the stamp set, and I'm just going to add to the larger flowers a little black. Well, that one didn't come out too good, but that's okay. Kind of hard to see from up above. It's not right under me. Okay, and the little ones don't need any. It would be too much. In my book, at least. So I'm gonna put that away. Oh, you know what we should have done before we put this down? Is stamped our sentiment. Let's see if I can get it on there without messing it up. That's okay. Worst case, I'll have to use some dental floss to get this up and put another piece there. I see a little bit of something here, so I'm trying to use my eraser to get it off. Yeah, that worked. So let's see how this is going to go, guys. Kind of leave it there for a minute to soak up all the ink. Oh, yes, it worked. Don't do like I did. Next time, add your sentiment before you add this to your sheet. I think I want my ladybug popped up on dimensionals, but not this. So I'm going to just add a little bit of adhesive right here and stick this. So I've got a little bit of each corner showing through. Then my little butterfly, I'm going to stick down with some black dimensionals since she's black. Okay. Take off the backings. And we'll add our little bee. Oh, I added some little googly eyes on my ladybug. I thought that was pretty cute. You don't have to, obviously. Build yours like you want it. Okay? And we're almost done. See how cute that opens up? We're going to add another little element right here, though. So, I've stamped my images, and I'll probably pop a few of these matte black dots on there as well. So I'm going to adhere this to my cardstock, centering it as best I can. Okay, I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And on my trimmer, I want to take off, this is going to be the side that's showing, I want to cut, let me see, how do I want to do this? I need to take off about 3/4 of an inch, because let me see if you can see it on this one. The back of it is going to be cut off so that when we fold it, it tucks all in there. So I'm going to make sure that this is at the 3/4 inch mark right here. Then I'm going to line up these 2 points at the 1.5 inch mark, or maybe at the 1.25 inch mark. Let me see. Yeah, 1.25 is good. Takes off a little extra, that's okay. So I'm going to cut that off. Then on this piece here, I'm going to score corner to corner my score mark. Let me move my cutting blade, because I can't tell you how many times I've cut instead of scored. And now we'll score it. So we've taken off 3/4 of an inch or so off of this side. We've scored it right down diagonally down the middle. Now we're going to fold this score line and give it a really good burnish. Then we're going to figure out, based on this cardstock here, do I want a little bit showing through? Do I want it to come all the way so you don't see anything? I kind of like it so you can see that we have a secondary page here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put adhesive on this side, and I'm going to fold this over, let the glue settle in there for a minute, and then pull it up. Okay, now we're going to add this layer here. We're going to place some adhesive on the top, not on the bottom. Recenter this and bring this over and press. Give it a good press to ensure you get good adhesion, because it's going to be opened and closed a lot. And there you have it. Pretty simple and pretty easy and pretty cute. I hope you'll take some time and make some of these for yourselves or for some of your loved ones. I think they'll truly enjoy it. You can use any stamps or sentiments that you want. I will be back soon with another video, and hope you've enjoyed this. Y'all have a blessed day, and know I love y'all. Bye-bye.